Hello, beloved soul journers. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Today, we're just going to explore some introspective awareness, just some questions to slip into your consciousness and explore what might arise as you cultivate your own personalized pathway towards loving liberation. Is the navigation from your body-mind and the interpretation of your own personal experience a reflection of your most authentic self? And this is great to ask at the beginning of a journey when you're like, wait a second, there's all these thoughts and these feelings and these movement patterns and these habits and these responses, and there's all this kind of stuff going on inside of me, and there's all these, personality traits or, kind of like energetic attributes or characteristics of how I experience my own sense of self. Is that actually a reflection of my true essence? Or is it actually a projection of navigation in my body-mind or from my body-mind based on past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs? And those are two very different things. But a lot of the time, if we don't ask this question, we just associate the self with those automated projections, not thinking that that could be a lesser form of navigation than what we are capable, worthy of experiencing, the fullest expression of our truest self. So, great question is the navigation from my body-mind, the thoughts, feelings, movement patterns, responses, habits, choice tendencies, the navigation of my body-mind and the interpretation of my personal experience, the interpretation of myself, the projection of who my sense of self is, and how that essence of self navigates life, experiences inner realities, experiences the translations and interpretations of all other aspects of experience. Is that a reflection of my truest self? Or is it potentially my body-mind projecting navigation that's actually information gathered during past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs, and so it's not a reflection of my fullest, truest self? And then if you start to discover that maybe there are some types of navigation or maybe even personality traits or certain projections of thoughts or feelings or certain choice tendencies or habits or movement patterns or instinctive responses that don't feel like maybe your truest, fullest self, and they might actually be just this navigation that was created during past moments where you didn't feel fully seen and loved, past moments where you didn't feel fully supported and connected, past moments where you didn't feel fully respected and embraced, past moments where you didn't necessarily feel fully safe and secure. Then the next question is, well, how can I resculpt the foundation of those patterns? Not necessarily resculpting the patterns themselves, but the foundation and the body-mind beneath the patterns. If there's a style of thinking or thought that you want to change, just trying to change the thoughts isn't necessarily going to change the foundation that created the thought. And so that thought pattern is likely to come up again no matter how much you change the actual thoughts, because there's still the foundation that created them, and it will just create more things like it until the foundation is directly addressed. And so on this healing journey of loving liberation, we can clarify our intentions. We can deeply establish our priorities. We can build the vision of why we're showing up every day by addressing the foundation that is beneath all of the thinking, all of the feeling, all of the moving, all of the responding, all of the personality traits, all the energetic characteristics of our own essence. We can go straight to the foundation of all of it. And the most powerful way that I've found to do that is by working with the attachment systems in the body-mind, the attachment needs of the body-mind. And so the next question is, what attachment needs at the foundation of my body-mind need my loving liberation, so that the patterns that are behind all of it, the underlying foundation behind every pattern of thinking, every pattern of feeling, every pattern of movement, every pattern of response, every pattern of personality, every pattern of my sense of self, every pattern of my energetic characteristics, every pattern of how I experience my own essence, the interpretation of my reality, the navigation of my life, the projections of my inner experiences, the foundation that is beneath all of that can be consciously expanded and lovingly evolved into new potentials of a sense of self, new potentials of navigating existence. So ask yourself, is the style of navigation and a sense of self in my body-mind supporting my true essence, or is it actually holding information from past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs that might be lingering beyond my awareness? I might not directly know about it. And then the next question is, how can I address the foundation of the body-mind to evolve all of those patterns? If there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of different patterns of thoughts and feelings and movements and responses and personality traits and characteristics and attributes, how can I go to a foundation that is beneath all of it so that all of it can naturally evolve even without me directly working with the particular details? How can I go straight to the foundation and evolve the foundation of my body-mind, evolve the foundation of my sense of self, evolve my foundation of navigating existence, evolve the foundation of my inner realities, evolve the foundation of how my being naturally interprets and translates experience, and what attachment needs in that foundation might be inviting or asking for my loving liberation.
From this introspective awareness, then it's about tangibly applying these insights to cultivate conscious expansion and loving liberation. What practices can you cultivate on a consistent basis to help nourish those specific attachment needs, to help nourish all body-mind foundations, and to help nourish those navigational patterns that truly support your most authentic self, while refusing to feed into those patterns that do not support your most authentic self. And there's two different things we can do here. One is daily practices integrated into everyday moments. So you can practice them every day because you don't have to stop all of your life and go make time for them. They're things that you can do when you're in everyday moments, while you're brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, taking a shower, driving a car, taking out the trash, unloading the dishwasher, getting ready for bed, exercising, preparing your food, eating, going for a walk. In these everyday moments, then there are practices to help nourish specific attachment needs, to help nourish all body-mind foundations, and to help nourish the styles of navigational patterns that support your most authentic self. And then there are the practices that you do need to kind of pause everything else for and exclusively make time for that practice. And that might be something you do every day, even if it's just for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Or maybe it's a practice you do once a week or a few times a week. Or maybe those are the types of practices you just do as you want or as you need, as desired or as inspired. They're a practice you have in place and you go to them whenever you feel called to. Maybe not on a regular, consistent, scheduled basis, but you reoccurringly return to these practices because you know the benefits of them and you make time for them when you really feel that that's something you need to nourish mind, body, spirit. So there's the practices integrated in everyday moments. You use them every day because you can use them while you're moving through your life anyways. And then there are the practices you kind of need to step away from and pause and make time for in its own independent sort of adventure. And these practices help, again, nourish specific attachment needs, nourish all body-mind foundations, and nourish the navigational patterns that support your most authentic self. So what are some practices you can use to achieve these intentions?
If approximately 99.08% of inner realities exists and operates beyond conscious awareness, then how are those hidden inner realities affecting parts of my essence, aspects of myself, aspects of my soul beyond my awareness? If there are parts of me up here within awareness, and then there's way even more of my essence, myself, parts of my being, my soul, beyond awareness, how are those parts of me that I can't immediately perceive encountering life? Especially in terms of the quality of personal experience, the quality of everyday moments, the quality of your own sense of self, the quality of existence. How can you expose and expand those inner realities where parts of self are actually experiencing body-mind activity and neural projections that precede conscious experience? How can you connect deeper and expand awareness of those inner realities so that you have more awareness of what is occurring beyond the immediate awareness? How can you dig deeper into those realities that are not so obviously observable, but so deeply important? If 99.08% of inner realities exist and operate beyond conscious awareness and direct perception, then how are parts of your self essence, aspects of your soul, experiencing each nanosecond through the subconscious, unconscious activity of your body mind, where the foundation of attachment systems, unconscious memories, and navigational patterns and potentials are creating subconscious experiences for parts of the self beyond awareness? There's these realities that precede what is consciously observable. So what is the quality of life for parts of the self who are in those realities beyond awareness? How are parts of self experiencing a quality of life in a space that precedes conscious thought, conscious feeling, conscious movement, conscious action, a consciously observable sense of self? How are parts of the self experiencing a quality of life through the body-mind, through body-mind miracles that precedes the life that we are so immediately observing? And how can we expand awareness? How can we expose these realities? And then how can we expand the quality of those realities? How can we expand the quality of life for those self-aspects? How can we expand the quality of the landscapes in the body-mind so that on an instinctive, automated level, those self-aspects are experiencing an exquisite quality of life just because of the amazing content and connectivity flowing through trillions of navigational networks in the body-mind? All these realities we're talking about, the body-mind and the essence of self, they affect our mental, emotional, behavioral, and movement pattern or action pattern, choice, tendency, states of being. They affect our mind, our body, our spirit. They affect navigation and regulation and brain-body structures. They affect a sense of self and automated instinctive interpretations of reality and experiences. And they affect communication and interactions with ourselves, with other people, and with all elements of life. And so they really matter because they're impacting existence in every nanosecond in ways beyond anything we can consciously conceive of. The information and how that data is flowing through body-mind miracles and through the essence of consciousness is indescribably expansive and miraculous. And so how can we show up to explore and understand these hidden secrets of the human experience? And from that expanded awareness, how can we evolve, expand, and elevate the miracles of the body-mind and the miracles of consciousness to improve, expand, and elevate, lovingly liberate the potentials of our own existence and the artistry of our souls within expression. The next question is, as we're on a journey of integration and reunification, how do we know that the newly sculpted structures of our body-mind and the newly reunified aspects of ourself are an accurate representation of our most authentic, truest beingness? And so integration and reunification are two sides to the same coin. Integration is where we're resculpting trillions of body-mind networks. We're evolving the structures and patterns and protocols of navigation and regulation and brain-body systems, and how the temple, the sacred vessel, this physical form supports the essence of ourself. And in that process, we're improving the well-being of attachment systems. We're expanding the content and connectivity in navigational patterns. We're integrating and reconnecting all this information from memories from every nanosecond of every moment of every year of every decade of our lives, and integrating all these unconscious memories and expanding all this information that's flowing through. And in the process, we're reunifying all parts of the self, every part of the self that's ever experienced any moment in the human form, every part of the self that's flowing through the navigational, regulational structures of the body-mind, every aspect of the self in terms of characteristics and energetic properties and attributes and dreams and needs and desires, and every part of the self within their most authentic beingness, and every part of the soul that exists even beyond the limitations of individuated human moments. So as we progress on a journey of integration, as we progress on a journey of reunification, how do we know that these newly sculpted structures of the body-mind and these newly reunified parts of the self are who we really are? Especially if that feels really different than maybe earlier in the journey. And so with the previous questions, let's say, for example, you explore and you discover there are some, maybe personality traits or styles of navigation in the body-mind that were just really a projection from past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs. And you went through a journey and you kind of rebuilt those structures and reunified those parts of the self. And now you're experiencing different personality traits or different thoughts or different feelings or different action patterns or different habits. And the way you connect with your own essence of self is totally different than it was before that. So how do you know that in this state of integration, this state of reunification, this state of, expansion, where you're kind of in unknown new territory, but you're also evolving into more of yourself, or so you think, or so it feels? How do you know that this journey of integration and reunification is actually leading you into your most authentic self, is actually exposing more of the true you, and not just like changing information so now you have this data instead of this data or whatever, but it's actually creating loving liberation for your self-essence. It's actually rebuilding the body-mind into the place that you want to live in. It's actually repurposing the existence of unconscious memories to improve the quality of navigating your own existence. Along this journey, in this process of integration and reunification, how do you know if that navigation is a reflection of your truest self? If those patterns of thinking, feeling, moving, responding, those personality traits are all changing because the way that consciousness is flowing through the body-mind is changing, how do you know that it is your true self? How do you know that this is the real you and not just another pattern that needs to be changed, or not just another projection from the body-mind that's not navigating yourself effectively? How can you distinguish what is a projection that doesn't serve you, a projection from moments of unfulfilled attachment needs, a projection from unprocessed memories, a projection from unprocessed experiences, a projection of a restricted sense of self versus your own authentic essence flowing through an integrated brain-body structure that has all these amazing protocols and patterns of navigation and regulation that are simply allowing you to be more of who you truly are beyond what you've ever known before. So when you're in a process of integration, reunification, this introspective reflection, what clues allow you to know that the navigation that now exists in these resculpted body-mind miracles is supporting the unity and the unified connection of all parts of you? Who is the identity of self when lovingly liberated? If all the body-mind miracles are totally upgraded and expanded to their maximum potential, all the data from your entire life is completely integrated, all those experiences are fully processed and released, and all the navigational patterns and potentials are totally in their optimal state of health, and all brain-body systems are totally perfectly regulated, and all the body-mind miracles, all the trillions of navigational networks, all the complex systems, all of it is just like maximum capacity. And the body-mind knows the fullness of attachment well-being, where all of its needs are fully met with unconditional love. Then how does that self essence experience the navigation of its own existence through an instinctive identity as love? Who is the identity of the self when the body-mind is no longer navigating life based on past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs? Another amazing question to ask yourself is, how can I cultivate an energetic sense of self that moves beyond restrictive human identities? And so rather than associating with experience, you are deeply associated with the inner experiencer of your own divine self-essence. Rather than identifying with aspects of experience, you're identifying with aspects of your own self-essence or your own sacred soul. How can you cultivate an energetic sense of self that dissolves the rigid human definitions of identity? And in that process, how can you expand and liberate your own authentic essence? How can that energetic container of identity, or this vibrational sense of self, feel like the truest, fullest you, while still flowing through all of experience, but as an expanded state of the experiencer of divine consciousness? I invite you to explore these introspective inquiries along your own journey of conscious expansion and loving liberation. And allow this to be an ongoing practice. Return to these questions every 30 days or every few months, or at least once a year. But every so often, come back to these questions, because the answers will change and evolve as we continue to consciously expand and create loving liberation. And we'll expose new layers and levels of this inner journey and these miraculous explorations of our own existence. And if you'd like to dive deeper, these questions are some of the many amazing things that we answer in a variety of my offerings. Self-love liberation is the number one self-guided journey I would recommend to address these specific questions, although all of the journeys address them from one way or another. And I also offer one-time sacred soul sessions, and we explore this through a variety of offerings, including Body, Mind, Soul, Self treasure mapping and the Roots of Reality journey. We also explore these questions and many, many more amazing explorations through my multi-month personalized pathways, especially Reborn as Infinite Love. So enjoy these introspective inquiries, take them on your own, take time to reflect, go journal, have a chit chat with yourself in a mirror if that's a good way to verbally reflect, meditate, explore these questions. And even if you don't know the answers, just kind of float them into the cosmos, float them into the navigational potentials of the body-mind, float them into the essence of your consciousness, and see what arises in the minutes, hours, days, and weeks to come. You might be surprised at the miracles it can lead you to. And if you'd like to dive deeper, again, my journeys, these guided journeys, clearly answer all of this and so much more in the most miraculous way.